Test, 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 test. Last test.
Hmm? Are you taking minutes? Tell me when you're ready. Good afternoon. I want to call the meeting to order for the New Ashland School Committee for July 14th, 4 o'clock. This is an interim meeting. The agenda, ignore the first one. It's a typo. It says agenda. Second item is roll call. Charlie Weber, Ryan McGarry, Greta Hines, Annie Hall, Christopher Willie. Next item is to discuss and act on an addendum for an interim principal contract. Everybody at the table should have received an addendum. You also should have received at least an electronic copy of an existing contract for Karen Macbeth. I want to go over a few things before a motion's made. First, I want to make it clear that there's no new person being hired. Ms. Macbeth was already appointed by the prior superintendent. The assistant principal's job title is being changed, is recommended to be changed to interim principal for a short period of time until we get either an interim superintendent or a superintendent. As of right now, Ms. Macbeth, by contract, is already performing the task as building principal through the school year this summer in the absence of a principal. The best I can explain this, and I've explained it to quite a few people, no one was appointed. All right, she's the vice principal. She's also the special ed director. Just on pure hierarchy in the school, when you don't have a superintendent, you don't have a principal, that position assumes the role. Until we have an interim superintendent to take over and ultimately find a full-time superintendent and then a principal, we need to continue the day-to-day operations of the Block Island School, which includes a lot of things that now I'm aware of. It's a mountain of stuff that goes on in the summer. We also have 7 teachers to hire. We need someone to oversee that. I think that's 7. As well as contracts to be signed and decisions to be made with the school committee. If there's any questions at the table on what I just said or clarification, let me know. Charlie? Ryan? Greta? Annie Hall?
Just to make clear, this is until we hire a superintendent or an interim superintendent. And an interim superintendent can be hired quickly.
Is that a question?
No, it's an answer.
No, that's,
It's a statement.
yeah.
Just to let everybody clear on that.
The job duties are in your addendum. If anybody has any questions as to what the job duties are. Hearing nothing further, I'm going to make a motion to approve the addendum for Karen Macbeth to assume the role of interim principal until there's a superintendent, whether full-time or interim superintendent hired. Any discussion?
Yes.
Greta?
Okay, so on the addendum, on number 2, it says starting July 1st for each day through September 1st. Do you think, I feel like that wording means every single day during that period of time?
So if you refer to her initial contract, she's already contracted for, I believe, 100 and,
85.
no, I think it's 98. We don't know if there will be an overage or not in that initial. So right now she's contracted for 198 days. We're staying with that contract of 198 days. The title expires September 1st or until we hire an interim superintendent.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that language is in there, and I just am wondering if you guys think it's unclear in the way it's stated there.
If you want to make a motion to change each day to existing contracted days, you can do that.
Or, okay, so it's not over the 100, it's
No.
included in the 198 days?
It should be.
I feel like we should clarify that.
Any other questions?
Are we gonna clarify that? Wait a minute. Yeah, let's.
Yeah.
let's finish
Right.
this.
Right. So is that included in or after, or does it not matter?
So she's contracted right now for a number of days, and this is an additional duties, not additional days, additional duties during those days. There isn't any intent to increase the number of days.
It's just increasing her stipend.
It's just a stipend, yes.
And is there language, finding language about the fact that if there's an interim superintendent hired, that will change her job description?
Well, it's part of the motion.
I think it should be in the contract first.
You see number one under terms?
I'll just read that out loud. Number one of the terms is the principalship is a temporary assignment until a new building principal is hired by the superintendents of schools.
So that actually means that we have to hire the superintendent and the principal. Please use the microphone, we can't hear it.
Sorry about that, so sorry. I'll reread that. The principalship is a temporary assignment until a new building principal is hired by the superintendents of schools.
So that means that we have to hire a superintendent and
A
a
principal.
principal.
You still need an interim principal.
Right.
Until you have both.
Okay.
There's no questions from the floor. Sorry, Paige.
Oh, I was just doing my needle.
Oh. Thought you were raising your hand. Any other questions? Any? Greta? Hearing nothing, I'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 5 ayes. Motion passes. Next item is school lunch program contract. I asked to meet with Sarah Sue on a Sunday, knowing that, being informed by Melanie that our contract was due to be signed, I think, this week with Chartwells, and in light of the issue we had failing the health inspection, I wanted to lay eyes on it and see where we were. Needless to say, I was kind of mortified.
Me too.
Having a little bit of experience in the restaurant industry, I was not happy with what I saw. I understand that Chartwells is the state contracted provider for this service. I personally don't think they are meeting their requirements by contract. Although we're supposed to sign the contract, and Melanie, correct me if I'm wrong, we can sign this in 2 weeks. We can sign this in 3 weeks. In the interim, Sarah Sue has documented, well-documented evidence, if you would, where I think we can go to RIDE and ask to basically take this on ourselves. Historically, when we've talked about this, it's a rather large undertaking with the amount of red tape. There may be some leeway with the existing conditions and the existing service that we've gotten for the past 2 years. I don't know if you remember last year, the food was terrible, despite the fact that we were paying for better food. This year, I was told the food was better, however, the condition of the kitchen was not. And I can get into equipment purchases that I don't think were necessary, but there's more refrigeration in this school than there is in my restaurant, and we only feed 50 to 60 meals a day. Anyway, I would like the school to go to RIDE with this evidence, if you would, and ask if we can consider taking on the food service program in-house. Chartwell's, I think, advertises their position at $25 to $28 an hour. I think there's single benefits. And this is just kind of spitballing numbers, but I think we can do it not within the budget that we've spent with Chartwell's before, because a lot of that was reimbursable. But I think we can do it within a reasonable amount of money and basically just take it into our own, our own hands. Therefore, we're responsible for our own. It's just a thought. We can certainly move forward with Chartwell's, but I'm not prepared right now to sign it until we have some explanation. I don't care if it's legal or otherwise, but I think we need to seek out some different options, and we've talked about them in the past. We had a plan to start implementing or try to implement in the upcoming years, the next 2 years, to get out from under Chartwell's, but that ended on July 1st. So any thoughts?
I think that's a good call. I mean, we weren't happy last year, and we were like kind of on a whim, like, let's hopefully they improve things. And the food seemed to be better, but I mean, if it's not being prepared in a clean area, then what's the point? So I think 100% we should check our options.
Our mics are on.
Right, I think you just have to project your.
Really?
Sorry.
I thought that was a speaker.
It's only a speaker for online.
Gotcha. I'm just loud anyway.
I was just saying I agree. I think we should check our options because it's small enough where I think we should be handling it ourselves anyway. Obviously, the reimbursement is big, but I can't see it being anything that's not worth the kids having good quality food.
Right now, our reimbursement is 38.
The budget for next year is 20,000 reimbursement, and then with the cafeteria.
So we'd be potentially missing out on $28,000 of reimbursement if we can't get reimbursed ourselves. And it's unclear of how that reimbursement is facilitated anyway, whether it's Chartwell's submitting paperwork or if it's because Chartwell's is the contracted provider for the state. Okay. Greta.
So one thing, I definitely agree that I think we should move away from Chartwell's, but am I allowed to ask
Yeah.
what the work burden would be on you as far as Okay.
This is,
Yeah.
so,
Does it all for us right now.
and can you describe for me what, like, exactly, other than ordering the food and hiring the person, submitting paperwork to the state?
That contract is 40 pages long.
Right.
Everything that's in there.
You probably need a microphone.
So yes, all the recipes and submitting everything to the state on a monthly basis, but also at the beginning, getting all the approvals and everything in that contract. Like, we don't just get to sign that contract. That contract goes to RIDE. RIDE approves the contract. So I don't think we really know everything it would entail. I mean, I could easily do the monthly reimbursements, but that's not all of it.
You have a question?
Yeah, so the child nutrition resource, the letter that came with the contract, is that a new company that RIDE has partnered with?
Yes, so it's a third-party company they're using that's looking over all the contracts. So everyone had to send their contract to them first. We got it back from them that it was approved. They gave us permission to sign it, and then it's due to them on Monday.
It's not unnoticed that this is a rather large burden. If we were to start with just new, like, all right, we have a contract with Chartwells, this is what we want to do before next year, and it would take quite a bit. But at this point, after seeing what I've seen, and Greta, you went, I think, I don't. I have reservations. I'd like to go to the state and say, you know, this is the existing condition of your like that your state contract, or that Chartwell's left our kitchen in, and we failed the health inspection. And anybody, I don't know if anybody read the actual report from last week, or maybe last week, 2 weeks ago. There was questions on the certification of the employee, et cetera. Like, so with that information, listen, I think if we've had residents work for the school and provide lunch, even under Chartwells, they still did their own thing, and unfortunately, Chartwells didn't like that. But I think we could find somebody that can fulfill that role. That's the most important role, is who's gonna run the kitchen. I think it's worth exploring and asking RIDE for basically a waiver, and if we have to steal recipes from somebody that already has them, like North Kingston, then let's take those recipes for the nutritional standards. You know, there's other items I was told. It's just as far as ordering, the amount of waste, because you have to order in bulk, or Chartwells has to order in bulk, which I don't really understand, because any of these ordering in bulk ultimately results in waste. So they throw out a lot. So there's a lot of waste. And you don't have to order 4 gallons of barbecue sauce. You can order 1 gallon if you want. It just costs you $2 more. Well, when you're throwing out 2 extra gallons of barbecue sauce, you just lost money. There's some minutia like that that's going on, but I think it's worth exploring. And I'm going to make a motion not to sign the contract until we explore options with RIDE about privatizing the school lunch program, or privatizing might be the wrong word, undertaking the school lunch program in-house within the Block Island School.
It's called self-op.
Self-op. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I did notice
You
under
have
the
to
duties.
second.
What?
I need a second.
Sorry.
Second it.
Second.
Second.
Thanks. Discussion.
Well, I was just looking over the contract and the duties and responsibilities, Schedule K. The cleaning of the kitchen, and I know we're moving to not go this way, but there are things that are assigned to us as the school within the kitchen. and some that are assigned to Chartwells.
And the question is, who has, on two levels, who has oversight of that? Like, whose job is that on
Right.
both ends?
Right.
So the kitchen obviously is, well, I don't think it gets specific in there as who's supposed to clean the grill. Does it? I had questions about the hoods because typically most hood systems need to be stickered every 6 months by a cleaning service that comes in. I didn't see any stickers anywhere. Now, maybe it's the type of hood because it has to go up a floor. I don't know. I didn't see any stickers on the inside hood. Every hood, when the fire marshal comes in, that's what one of the things they look at. So there's a bunch of questions that can be asked and answered, hopefully. But most importantly, why was there a rodent problem? Like that's,
Right.
why was there a rodent problem?
In RIDE's SFA contract, I was trying to figure out what some of the acronyms mean in here, and I finally did, but the SFA shall maintain all applicable health certifications and assure that all state and local regulations are being met by the FSMC, which is the food service. It's Chartwell's, basically, in its preparation and/or service of meals on the premises. So they're responsible for it,
Right.
according to this contract.
Right.
Sorry, the SFA is us. But.
Food service provider.
So are you reading 5.8 on Article
Yes,
5?
yeah.
Yeah, I read that too, but then if you go to Article 6, which is FSMC, that's the Food Service Management Company, which is Chartwell's. The health certification under 6.1,
Falls under us.
no, that falls under them.
So we got cited.
So the first thing that Charlie read refers to what we are supposed to be doing. At least that's how I understand it.
The kitchen failure was the Block Island School. I'm just making an observation. Like when it wasn't, it's our facility that failed. We got cited. The
Yes.
responsibility of which falls under the maintenance, falls under Chartwells. So that's another question we need discussion on with Chartwells. I don't know how to facilitate that meeting. Who's our liaison?
Chartwells,
Yeah,
Mark Roy.
Mark?
Mark Roy, but there is someone above him too, the regional.
Yeah. I think I mean, either way, we need to go somewhere else with all of it because it's not good. But I think part of this is defining whose role it is, especially if we're taking it on ourselves to
100%.
make sure that this doesn't continue.
This isn't brought up. This suggestion isn't taken lightly. Like we've talked about this last year, and time was spent in looking into how to facilitate this in the future. And this was on the list and should be put back on the list for whoever the future superintendent was. There was some experience with John when he was here. He did this at his old school that he came from. So, but it's considerable amount of work. But I think we need to explore it before we sign this, or at least get some changes to the contract. And at the very least, there has to be, I'm not sure how often Mark Roy visited, but in the absence of someone to make the meals, he had to make the meals. But there should be at least a designated periodic, like scheduled inspection, because right now I think it just says periodic. So I don't want to sign this until we explore other options. One of them being self-op.
So is the motion to table this for now?
No, the motion is not to sign the contract.
It's just not signed.
Explore self-op.
Okay.
And part of that exploring self-op is we do have to have a conversation with Chartwells and RIDE about the existing contract and conditions. I think it'd be derelict in our duties to sign this now. I could certainly amend the motion to not sign the Chartwells contract until we have a discussion with RIDE and Chartwells collectively, looking at our options. But I think the burden of evidence in just contract, what wasn't followed in the contract and the existing conditions is enough to allow us to expedite self-op instead of going through what would normally be a lot of red tape.
And I would like to make sure that we have a superintendent on board
Right.
when we do this.
So do I,
You know, it's not-
because I'm getting kind of
Yeah.
tired.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to contact RIDE and Chartwells if I'm allowed to do that, but
Yeah.
do you not want to do that?
I think if you want to start the ball rolling, I think that would be great. And then when we get our interim superintendent, which will hopefully be very soon, that, we can just share all the information and.
So-
It's probably going to be a budget impact.
There absolutely will be a
Because
budget impact.
we've looked into this before, and I don't want to be one of those people who's like, oh, we've done that before. Like, I would love for us to do this ourselves, for sure.
Me too. But I don't want,
So the motion was not to sign the contract with Chartwells until we have further discussion with RIDE and Chartwells and explore the option of self-op. That was seconded,
And this should be on our next agenda.
yes. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Motion passes. July meeting schedule. We have a meeting scheduled for Monday, the 20th. I can't guarantee I'll be able to attend, but we have a mountain of things that we have to sift through for agenda items. A lot of them are just regular 4 o'clock on Monday, right? So agenda items, I'm not going to be here. We can postpone. I'm asking to postpone. If you don't want to postpone it, then we have to get the agenda together by Thursday.
I would like to propose a meeting for Friday, because.
This Friday?
This Friday,
Shit.
because we are getting applicants for superintendent, and I would like to, and as an interim superintendent, we can appoint somebody.
We can.
So I would like to do that on Friday. Oh, just one thing on that agenda, and that's it. And then, I don't know how anybody else feels about the other meeting, but
I think what time are you suggesting?
when do we have to have it posted by?
48 hours before. So if you want it at 4 o'clock on Friday, bad idea, by the way.
No, it has to be in the morning.
Yeah.
Noon?
9,
I could do earlier.
10,
It has to be posted by that time tomorrow.
right?
Afternoon works best for me,
Yeah.
obviously.
I'm at work.
I'll
What time are you going away?
I'm going to
I
say
was going to go on Thursday.
there'll be one
What-
item if, the one item would be if there's a interim superintendent or application for interim superintendent. Is that what you're saying? Or if
Yeah.
someone is interested in interim superintendent?
Yes, I would like to be able to have a superintendent.
How about I make a motion to schedule a meeting for noon on Friday with a potential agenda item of superintendent. I won't say interim or otherwise.
And what are we doing about the meeting on Monday?
We can discuss that on Friday.
We can't, because yeah.
Yeah, we can't,
So,
sorry.
Let's do Friday first. I can do Friday at 10. I can't do later than that.
Okay, I'll amend that to Friday at 10.
And there's one thing on the agenda, and that's it.
Interim superintendent.
Correct.
The meeting can't happen, then we'll just postpone it.
Correct.
So are we still having Monday's meeting?
Monday you can still have, I'm just saying I would like to postpone it until the following Monday, but if that can't happen, that can happen,
Or the 28th.
which is the 27th, or the 28th, which is, I know, better for
Better.
Annie.
Yeah.
Tuesday, the 28th would be ideal. I don't know what everybody else's schedule is. Anyone?
I can do Tuesday the 28th.
4 o'clock? Make a motion to move the July 20th school committee meeting to July 28th at 4 PM.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we need to post that by 10 AM tomorrow.
So Friday at 10,
10.
and then Tuesday at 4.
Friday at 10, Tuesday at 4. 28th. The 28th. But
So, right, so to post tomorrow's meeting, we just have one thing, or Friday's meeting. And then we have until